And so when I looked at it, I was like, I will make more, I will have like a better cash flow by buying a house at the basement apartment. I was single at the time. And so I also I rented, it was 3 bedrooms upstairs, 3 bedrooms downstairs. I rented the basement for $1,200. I rented the upstairs. I took my own room and I rented to 4 guys. They each 2 shared a room and they were renting for, I think, $300, $250 a piece. So it was, well, that's $1,000 plus the $1,200. So I was getting $2,200 in rents, living in the house, putting a little down, and my payment at the time was $1,600.
Whoa.
It was way better than a condo or a townhome.
So you're being paid to live in your house.
I was paid to live in my house.
Why don't more single people do this?
I have some people right now, and I'm like, guys, if you throw some roommates in the top floor, rent out the bottom, you're coasting.
It's
and they're
amazing.
like, well, I've had people say, oh, I don't want to spend $500. I'm like, I'm going to punch you. I'm like, what do you mean?
Totally.
Good for you.
Yeah. That first one worked out really well.
So when you were getting started and you were looking at house hacking, would you have said that, because you kind of like stumbled into it after your first experience, was that something that you would look at as more of like, all right, this is a stepping stone, I'm going to do this for a little while? Or was this like this is what I'm doing now, this is my strategy?
It was, I would definitely say, a stepping stone, because I got married, was living in this house in Provo, and then we started doing this back to back to back. But there's only so many times you can do it and still be married and have kids.
Wives don't want roommates?
Yeah. We moved 5 times in 6 years.
Wow.
And so
that's the way to do it, though.
It was the way to do it because, right, we put 5% down on all these houses, and it worked out well. Like, looking now, at the time when we purchased them, there were a couple that were negative on rents, right? Because that just happens. If you're putting less down, you're going to be a little negative. But looking back at them now, it's awesome because they're all cash flowing. Every single one of them. It just took a little bit of time. But so to answer your question, stepping stone for sure. Now we are not doing that. We just live in a house down south, and that's great. But it was like, for the first 5 or 6 years of our marriage, it was the best thing we could have done. Just to build up those rentals while we didn't have a lot of commitments. We didn't have kids or anything quite yet.
Yeah. I tell my wife that even when we build our dream house, I'm putting an ADU right in the basement. Because like even if worst case scenario, if something like terrible happens, it still, no matter what kind of house you buy, I've helped people buy $1 million plus homes that have ADUs in it.
Yeah.
It still covers quite a big chunk of what the mortgage payment is.
A huge chunk.
And it's, when you get into those bigger houses, so much of it is just unused space anyways, that it's just, I don't know, for me, it's a no-brainer. It took my wife a long time to get on board with it though, but she's there now.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and at least to have the backup, right? Just
Yes.
to say it's the what if or the just in case.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Totally.
So let's talk about when you were a first-time landlord, especially with your first house hack. I just got to know, you were so young, you were single. What surprised you most about being a first-time landlord?
I learned a lot of experiences my first year. My first year, I heard a lot of sob stories from a lot of people, and I rented to them, and it ended up not working.
Dude,
great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, seriously, tours, man. You hear the weirdest stories.
Dude, I had people sleeping in sleeping bags the first like week there, and then all of a sudden they were gone. It was just weird stuff. So that surprised me. It surprised me. At first I was like, I'm going to believe everybody. Everybody's great. They're all going to be perfect renters because they said they're going to be. And that's not true.